stuff apparently.
Well, apparently so. I see my glasses. This is like a, I have to get some new glasses lately. But... Hey, over there. This isn't quite the cool, but it's my hat. It's my glasses that I have left. The last one's available. But I tell you what, you're welcome for a good night. We got some good people on tonight. But the best guy around, you're going to enjoy him a lot. Please welcome your MC for, what's the name of this thing called?
It's the off night.
The off night. There we go. Yes, the off night, folks, with Mark Sweetman.
You. It's so, but you're like the.
I got to take these off. You're
like the Larry Bud Melman of this show because.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
Week after week, you're trying to get that intro out.
Yeah, these are the glasses I usually end up with. They always have one lens out, and I have to use tape to get them in.
That's beautiful.
So that's part of the deal.
God bless you. I mean, there were people that wouldn't even go out in public like that, and you.
I know. Well, it really makes the people feel comfortable when they get in the back of the Uber and they see those glasses on me. Hey, people, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Do you think you can see me? Over the left, it's over there.
Yeah. Check the hospital and police blotters and see if there's anybody missing.
Is there anybody missing from that back area? I could swear he was from somewhere else. Yeah. And they always make criticisms of my Lions mask. It helps actually with tips. If I have the Lions mask on, it helps with tips.
Oh, sort of the sympathy tip. Is that what that is?
The sympathy tip, or they're kind of worried that I'm in a cult, Sort of like, the definition of a cult is you believe something's going to happen when it really won't, I'm
telling you, I wish Sam was here. I kind of want to talk a little bit about sports tonight. It's always good to have Sam here for that. Anyway, how was your week?
Pretty good. I mean, I had the car had to be repaired, so that was kind of it. But for the most part, it's been okay. I've been trying to cope with stuff and get ready for Santa Claus. I actually won 2 tickets to see Patton Oswalt.
Oh, how was that?
To the 107.1 radio show.
Okay, now that was last week, right? How was that?
That was on Saturday. I invited Coram to go with me. So actually, he has a car, so that's the deal. Wait, I'm getting my food, so there you go.
Oh, there we go. Hey,
I'm doing a slight podcast with my friends, so they want to see the.
You're live on stream.
There you go. This is the banana with caramel.
Ooh.
Banana shake with caramel.
Nothing like now there's pressure for wait servers to perform all the time because they never know when they're going to be live on the air at any time.
Got it.
And being recorded. That's got to be tough. How was it?
Banana with caramel.
What with banana with caramel?
Banana with caramel, yeah.
And it works. Now, does Big Boy still make shakes however you order them? It's not like they have a menu of them, right? You just say, what flavors you got, and they can.
I think they have a bunch of different ones, but I got the banana shake. Not too bad. It's pretty good.
What we lost to COVID was the Shake Shack. You got any? Not Shake Shack. Steak and Shake. You ever been to Steak and Shake?
Oh yeah. They went down.
Yeah, we lost. Well, they're not all down, but the one near me went down, and I liked it. Not only was it the best shakes in town, but it was also the only 24-hour restaurant we had left. I remember when I was a kid, there were 24-hour restaurants galore. That was the thing. Eat anytime, always open, 24 hours. The clock, the flame, you know what I mean? There was always the Ram's Horn. Always these 24-hour restaurants. It's where we used to go after shows all the time. And now Bupkis. Just nothing. The only thing
they'll still go after that is Denny's. But
yeah,
it has to do with.
And we talked about that a few shows ago. There's only 3 Denny's left in Michigan, I think. That's just crazy.
Yeah, well, in Detroit, but later on the west side, there's Denny's going.
Oh, okay.
And the Waffle House is still up.
Yeah. Now, how far south you got to go to get to your first Waffle House? Those
Yeah, it's true. It's
He's
true.
not in Michigan for that either. Anyway,
So we
I
went
got
to see Patton Oswalt
Okay.
at the Fillmore. Me and
All right.
Corum. So let me think. Let me give you your thoughts on this.
All
If
right.
you see a comic doing a lot of crowd work, and then his best bet, he actually wrote it down on a piece of paper, is senior farts. Do you think that comic is having trouble finding material?
He's having a what?
Having trouble finding material? I mean, to me, anytime the comic brings up fart jokes, he's desperate. So
now, is he riding on reputation now? Because he's always been known as somebody who's always brought original material.
that's good. Very good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's doing a lot of stuff, and I think it's like
He's just running out. You know what it is? He's putting all of his stuff on the air,
yeah.
and so he's got to come up and so probably he just uses his live shows to just churn up new material.
That's what I'm thinking. Like the live shows are just basically personal open mic nights.
Well, like
Trying to come up with stuff.
George Carlin was famous for that. He would do an hour-long HBO special. And Sam, I see you there. We're going to bring you in after I get done with my openings here with Andy. He would do, and then he would go to Vegas and he would just try to do, 5 new minutes a week type of thing until he had another hour-long special, and then he'd record it. Then he'd go back to Vegas and he'd do 5 new minutes, and it was always rotating that stuff in. So that was a story I heard anyway. I never met him and talked to him about it, but that's the deal on that. Anyway, it looks like we have a couple of guests with us, a regular and a newbie. So let's introduce them, okay, Andy? And we'll get the show
going. You go ahead
going.
there, man. I'm going to
if Jason and Kurum show up, you get the axe, so you'll be watching from the sidelines.
Cool.
All right. Anyway, want to bring to you now, probably other than Andy, our most regular. He's a veteran comic of the comedy wars of the 1980s. Basically, what I say the cable television induced comedy craze, and also spent some time in talk radio, and actually worked for Roger Ailes of Fox. Holy cow! Anyway. He's always great to have on. A lot of opinions. I want to talk about sports tonight, so it's great to have him back tonight. So please welcome back to the show, Mr. Sam Greenfield, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be here.
Good to see you.
Hey, Sam.
Hey. So let me tell you my latest medical story, and then we can move on.
Oh, that's that should be the order anyway. Your gigs, your health, and your life, and your family, and then we'll talk about the world. So let's go with it. All right. How we doing?
Had a colonoscopy on Friday.
And did you get the propofol?
I got everything.
Was it good?
Good is a relative term. Well, what happened was they were 6 minutes in, and my pulse went up to 155.
Not good?
Per minute, no. So they stopped, and I talked to my cardiologist, and he said, it's nothing to worry about. And I said, well, of course, it's not your heart. And so I'm going to see him on Friday for a checkup. I just had one, so I don't know what it is. Anyway, so that's that. And now we can go back to whatever you'd like to talk about.
Well, just to catch you up, Andy is at the Big Boy at the Metro Airport, at Detroit Metro Airport.
Uh-huh. Hi, Andy.
So that what you hear in the background is whatever crap they play at the Big Boy at Metro Airport. So,
Andy, what are you reading?
I just ate the Big Boy, which is the burger.
Is that like the Big Mac of that group?
Yes.
It's Big Mac with truth. They don't have a mystery sauce.
That is such a great. That is so true. The Big Mac with truth.
What outlet is this?
Big Boy.
What's that?
They have him in L.A.
Oh,
too.
Big Boy, like the kid with the top knot hair like this. With
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's no
Yeah,
secret sauce. It's just Thousand Island dressing. That's what I'm saying.
We were talking about Denny's too, and all these restaurants that we used to know as good. There were 24 hours, and they're not. COVID took care of a lot of them, but even before COVID, we stopped having a lot of 24-hour restaurants around here.
We have in New York. We have.
Well, you got to have them in New York. It's New York.
Yeah, that's right. Diners usually. Something interesting happened. There's a Rite Aid a drugstore near us, and they were open 24 hours, and now they're closed. Now they close at midnight. Which
in Manhattan?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
There are others that are open 24. This is a neighborhood place.
Oh, okay.
We're not in Midtown, and we're not in Midtown. My wife said lower, so I dropped my voice to basso. But that's not what she meant. Not what she actually had in mind. So.
We would expect nothing less, Sam. We would expect.
Thank you very much.
You have to listen.
Yeah.
Comedy creds before spouse creds. That's
absolutely. Of course. No.
I try to tell my wife that all the time. She'll be in the audience in a show and she'll say something, and she'll try to speak out in the crowd. I mean, she'll actually try to. Oh, we lost Sam. Doggone it. She'll try to say something in the crowd, which is always funny. You've seen it, Andy, I'm sure, when my wife has said something out loud in the. All right, to get you back into this thing,
you were talking about your wife.
Yeah, my wife. Well, she'll be in the show and she'll try to correct something factual in my act. To which I know. To which I always say, it's comedy. It doesn't have to be true. It has to be funny.
That's the cousin of when Letterman tells a joke that bombs, and he goes, "Folks, before you get too upset, ask yourself, what did you pay to get in?"
Yeah. Well, and it's very funny to have that conversation. And sometimes I'll end up having the conversation, with my wife on stage, and I only do it if it's funny. I tell her that too. She goes, well, why would you talk? Why don't you always talk back? I go, sometimes it's not always funny. So I go, you remember when I'm up there, I'm thinking one thing and one thing only. Are they laughing?
That's all. That nothing else matters.
My mom would only come to see me, of all the clubs in Michigan, would only come to see me at the Comedy Castle. As far as she knew, that was the only place to see.
Was that on 8 Mile Road?
No, that's the one that's at Troy and 4th Street in Royal Oak.
Has it always been in Royal Oak?
It's been in Royal Oak since like 91, I think.
Okay.
But there was one on Woodward. If you're thinking of he did have a location on Woodward.
No, it was Royal Oak, because the one time I played there, it was 90. It was 90.
I think he moved there in the summer of 91.
I'm sorry?
If you played there in 90, you might have been on Telegraph Road. In 90, he was on Telegraph.
I just remember it was, I thought it was a classic looking comedy club. The only thing that, I don't know if I'd say bothered me, the audience was like in a well. You were standing above them. Not 10 feet, but
Oh, he did have it. Now he had a club I think he had a club like that for a while, but it wasn't the main one.
He paid me main money. I'll tell you that. I was very grateful.
Oh, good. Anyway, I want to tell this story, but I want to get our next guest out here before she thinks we've forgotten her. Next person we're bringing in is a regular comic on the scene here in Michigan, and she I don't know, I think she's been doing it about 15 years. I've known her at least 10, and one of the funniest ones. Please welcome Brandy Alexander. I almost called her Andy Bralexander. It's Brandy Alexander. Hey, Brandy.
Hey, how you doing? I like that name. Say it again one more time.
Andy Bralexander.
I like that.
You like that? Well, yours is the name of a cocktail. Your name.
I know it is.
Well, that's not your given name, is it?
Yeah, my grandma, she loved the movie The Days of Wine and Roses. You ever heard of that movie? It's old.
Sure, Jack Lemmon and Lee Remick.
Yep.
And that drink. Yep.
Yeah, Brandy Alexander. And so they named you after a drink. That's pretty wild.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You got a drink named Melvin? Brandy, that's an old joke. A grasshopper walks into a bar and he says to the bartender, he's looking at the drink list. He goes, "You got a drink named after me." And the bartender says, "Your name is Melvin?"
That is so old.
So here's the story, and,
Yeah.
and occasionally I'll do it in my act because if it fits, it's like it's a calming the audience down kind of story. But I used to tell about how my mom would only come to see me at the Comedy Castle, and whenever she would come to see my show, I would always do my dirty material up front. Normally you wait until the end, but I do it because my mom would always ask questions, and she'd never be further than the fifth row back, And so,
raise her hand and ask questions.
Yeah, no, she would just say it out loud. She goes, "What's a camel toe?" And so,
oh man,
so here's this old lady in the car going, "What's a camel toe?" And invariably somebody would go. You'd see somebody lean over to her and talk. So because I kept going on with my show, just ignored it, knowing that the audience was hearing it and wondering if I was going to say anything about it. And then as soon as somebody would tell her what it was, she'd go, "Oh my God, what are you talking about that for?"
Oh man. Oh, I can't remember the name of the group, but the song was "Groove Is in the Heart." Da 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 da. It was and the lead singer was a woman named Lady Keir, Kir. So there was a guy who was a high-priced lawyer, story goes, in Greenwich Village, and his mother's visiting him from Indiana, and he takes her to a huge, enormous a club.
Mm-hmm.
And that group, I wish I could remember the name of it. It was kind of a jazzy grooves in the heart, like that. And he goes to the bathroom. And while he's in the bathroom, she's working, Lady Keir is on stage, touching herself, singing a song called "Work the Snatch." And the audience responds by yelling, "Work the snatch." Right. So there's 5 minutes of this, and the woman is shell-shocked. And her son comes back from the restroom, and says to her, "Can I get you anything?" And the story goes that she said, "Yeah, a cab."
The musical group's name was D-Light.
That's it. It was a good song. Nice jazzy kind of, song with a little disco back, but it was nice. Maybe not for that woman, however. Not her cup of tea. Or whatever. So are we talking sports, or can we just...
I'd kind of like, we haven't talked about sports in a couple months, and I kind of like to get into it because, one, we have a football team. We have a football team worse than the Washington football team.
Wow, so that's going somewhere.
I kind of wanted to commiserate with you.
Neither team played this week, by the way.
I know, but they both had their best weeks of the season.
Easily. No, the Redskins have won too.
Washington's
won too.
Here's the funny thing: except for Washington, all the other teams that have won two have beaten the Lions. So even if the Lions catch up to them, they still get a better draft pick than them because they get lost to all those teams.
Oh God!
I don't think what's his name, Josh, our quarterback,
Allen.
No, Allen is Buffalo. We're
your guy. Oh,
you're thinking of the other Great Lakes state or other Great Lakes football town.
No, I'm sorry. Yes.
Although that would make a great division, wouldn't it? All teams on the Great Lakes: Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Buffalo, and Cleveland. That would make a great division.
It would, except, well, you'd have to wait a while till Aaron Rodgers came back.
Well, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, and you know what? Aaron Rodgers, he may have cost himself some Hall of Fame votes.
Nah.
You don't think
I
so?
don't think so. No, not in that sport. I don't know if I ever told you this story. Let me tell it to you now. There's a whatchamahoozy. There's a I don't know, 35, 40 years ago, the owner of the then San Diego Chargers, Eugene Klein, paid a psychiatrist of each position on a football team. And what he came out, this guy made so much sense, and seemed so, and you listen to what he would say and you go, yeah, that's right. That make, and I'll give you an example, okay? If you go to the locker of a huh?
I can hear you.
If you go to the locker, I'm getting a double and an echo.
Take one of them off.
Okay, hang on. If you go to the locker, how's that?
All right.
Hold on.
I don't know which. I can take one off here, but I don't know which one is your good one and which one is your bad one.
I don't do that shit. Let me do this.
Oh, there you go. All right, I'm going to remove the other one.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go. Oh, no, I lost both of them.
Oh, you lost Brandy too?
No, you
No,
didn't
Brandy's
lose me. I'm here.
Brandy's still there?
I'm here. Listen,
Brandy.
y'all talk about my Lions.
Oh, we'll get
How
your
we doing? Can you hear me?
Jared Goff, is that his name? Jared Goff? I think Jared
Yes.
Goff. Okay. Anyway, I'm not sure if he's as bad as he appears to be, but he's playing for the Lions, and I'm trying to tell everybody the Lions are cursed. No, they're never
Bobby Lane.
The curse of Bobby Lane. And I found out a little bit more about the curse of Bobby Lane since I told you about it, Sam. Apparently, he was not traded after the championship. He was traded 3 games into the next season. See, and this all happened before I was alive, so you have to forgive me if I don't remember the exact.
I think that this is what I think, and I'm very objective about this. I think if you allowed him to win the championship with that team, right?
Right.
For the entire winter and into the spring and part of the summer probably back then, savor the victory, never pay for a drink, everybody loves you. So 3 games in, they trade you. I mean, if you listen, obviously the owner was a jackass, but if you have to have a choice of how to be treated, George Allen, the most overrated coach in the history of professional football, Sonny Jurgensen comes back from an Achilles tendon. One of the greatest throwers in the history of the game.
Oh yeah.
Okay. In the Super Bowl, Allen, because he was an uptight right-wing bag of shit, wouldn't let Jurgensen play. And so he let Billy Kilmer play. And the joke about Billy Kilmer was that he threw an equal opportunity football. You could catch it from either end. So, and he wouldn't let Jurgensen play, and he allowed Richard Nixon to draw up a play for him. And his nickname among a lot of teams was Nixon with a whistle.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Listen to this. This is something I'll never forget. The Redskins, that's what they were winning 17-13. Going into the end of the second half, 4 minutes left in the in the first half, and they're up by 4. Okay, they had Charlie Taylor and Roy Jefferson at wide receiver. They had Jerry Smith, who held the record until 5 years ago for most touchdown catches by a running back. By a tight end. They had Larry Brown and Charlie Haraway at running backs, and they had the Hogs guarding them. And he ran the timeouts. He wouldn't try to score. Would not try to score with that team. Okay, you could have scored a touchdown.
Right.
Okay, and they lost. And then after the game, he's making all kinds of excuses and the referees and blah blah. And I thought, this is true. I said, I hope this kind of poison, instead of just saying congratulations to the Rams, they beat us fair and square. They had more firepower, which is horseshit. But no, he makes excuse. Then they show a game. Excuse me. They have an interview with Pat Fisher, who was a 5'9" safety, and Charlie Taylor, and they sounded just like him. Well, if so-and-so hadn't, oh man, shut up. You lost. Okay, your coach is a Nazi. So that's all.
Best thing that ever happened to the Redskins, or excuse me, the Washington football team, was.
I like that so much. I hope they never
I hope they never come up with.
I hope they never red wings and red burns and burns when I pee. I don't care about all that.
Yeah, but anyway, the best thing that ever happened to that team was Joe Gibbs, because it made you forget. It made you forget.
Yep. Well, Joe Gibbs did something that he never gets enough credit for. He won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks and 3 different running backs.
Didn't he come back to win a Super Bowl too?
No. He came back, and it was ugly.
Oh, was it? Okay.
He didn't understand. What am I trying to say to you? Time management.
Oh, yeah, because he had been a running game.
Right. He just, and the thing was, when they said they were hiring him, everybody, including me, said, "Daddy's home." When the quote should have been, "Daddy's hammered." He was a very religious guy. That kind of, you look like one of those people who hasn't accepted the Lord into his life. Let me help you, brother. That shit.
Right.
That's who he was. At the end, I don't know, probably the beginning. Anyway, so one day I'm watching the Republican National Convention, and it's 7:30 on a Tuesday, which isn't prime time, but it's evening.
Right.
And who do they have speaking? Joe Gibbs.
And
what's he talking about? Jesus. For 1/2 hour. 1/2 hour. And you could tell it wasn't the Democrats, because no one led a chant of S-U-C-K, which they absolutely would have done.
No, the Democrats allow you to talk about Jesus as long as you do it in choir robes and in unison.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But they have, and if not in unison, just pack it up. Shut her down. That's all. Don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, the Republicans call it the Christmas. The Democrats call it, hey, solstice. All right.
That's right. Did you see the interview with Paul Gosar's sister?
They hate him. His brothers and sisters hate him.
And
now
he's done this video.
Hate is not, Sam. Hate isn't a strong enough word. I mean, they
wish he was dead.
I know. And this was, everybody knew this, at least on my side anyway. Everybody knew this where I'm coming from before he got elected. They were trying to get him to keep from getting elected in the first place.
Well, see, here's the thing. By the way, I'm, this TikTok thing I'm doing. I'm up to like almost 2,300 followers.
I love those things. Those are great.
What's interesting? I said to my daughter, Cass, I'm up to 2,300 followers. She goes, "That's great, Dad. I haven't touched my TikTok in 3 months. I'm up to 16,000. I said, "This is why no one likes you." Yeah. So, but it's fun. So this is what I said. I said there was a rally, a Trump rally. This is last year, where he said Nancy Pelosi, just a throw-off line, hates America. And I said, there is no one in the Democratic Party, no one, who comes within a mile of a Paul Gosar or a Matt Gaetz or a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a
Or
Lauren. No one.
Lauren Boebert,
No, you may disagree with their politics.
Or who's the
but
guy?
There is no one that's sick. No
who's
one.
the kid?
Or
And
stupid.
Josh, what's it? The senator from
Josh
Missouri.
Hawley.
Josh Hawley. And
Ted Cruz.
Who's the kid from North Carolina? The congressman from
Ash something Byrne.
Yeah, all those.
Yeah. One what's his name? Captain Hook.
Oh, I know who you're talking. Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear the recording that
I bet both eyes work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm the
You're
only
not
one
fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody, Blackbeard. Oh no, come on.
Yeah, that is so funny. That is so funny.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That is so funny. Well, what happened to the other guy? I picked up the phone to call him. I picked up the phone to call him EMS.
That's hysterical. Oh, that's funny as shit. Oh God.
No, the point I was about to make was I saw what's it? It's I can't think of his name. He's from Michigan. His niece is a supermodel that's married to Justin Verlander. Upton, Congressman Upton. Did you hear of this phone call?
She married him?
No. His niece is the supermodel from Sports Illustrated.
Is married to Kate Upton.
Kate Upton is married to Justin Verlander. Yeah, they've been married for 5 years.
Did Verlander retire?
No, he's a free agent and he's pitched for the Yankees this week. He's pitching for some teams. They want to see if he can come back
as an audition.
He had Tommy John surgery. He may never pitch again. I mean, you just never know.
There are guys who do that proactively, or preempt. They do it before they need it.
You're right, but he's 38. I don't think it was before he needed it. But you're right. We had a guy on the Tigers. He's 26. He just had it. So.
What? Let me see. I wanted to ask you something. Who's managing the Tigers?
AJ Hinch.
The guy from Houston.
Yeah.
If you had to point a finger at somebody who was responsible for that, who would it be for the scandal?
The guy who's
scandal of the Astros.
Well, I heard the story that we got here, and we may just be cleaning up AJ Hinch, but the story we got here was the bench coach who is now the manager of the Red Sox. Cora, yeah. He was supposed to be the orchestrator of the whole thing, and apparently it still goes on down there in Houston. Did you hear this story?
No.
They're using whistles. They're using whistles now.
Oh Jesus!
They were showing. Now the only problem here's what poo-poos the whole thing. In the series that they won, now not counting the Yankees series for the American League Championship, but against the Dodgers, where they had a lot of this tape, those last two games that the Dodgers lost, were in Los Angeles. So you can't really say that they were using cameras and other shit when the games were in Dodger Stadium. You lost that series. You lost the last two games in Dodger Stadium. So,
What's his name is the free agent? No, they gave Kershaw his not walking papers, but you got 2 months to make up your mind what you want to do, kind of thing.
Really?
I'm okay with that. He's injury prone. His best years are behind him. He's making a king's ransom.
Yeah,
that's fine
true.
with me. It's business. It's a business.
The prize. I think the one who's going to shock a lot of people, I think, is going to be.
Who's that redhead comic? He did something about the using signals illegally. He did something about like using signals illegally. If we have to, give up anything using that, we have to totally give up World War II.
Well, that's why isn't that why we use signals? Isn't that why the catcher doesn't call out, throw a curveball? That's why you use.
It's called part of the game. It's like
exactly.
I got to say something. That's how I feel. If you can steal the signal, good for you.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
He's not covering it with a woman's body. It's out there. It's out there for the world to see. So so what?
Yeah.
So that's,
Although I would
It's
much prefer throw a curveball said out loud. I'd pay money for that.
yeah, I can't
That
remember the
would
comic
be.
who did it, but the comic he was on The Mandalorian.
Oh, Bill Burr.
Well,
There
you
you
know the
go.
reason I
That's
didn't
him.
think of him? Because his head is shaved now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't think of him as a redhead.
you can tell by his beard though.
Yeah.
Probably with Lindsey Graham. Double entendre there with the beard reference. What's a mandate? What Lindsey Graham thinks of.
Yeah, no, that's gonna, Lindsey Graham coming out is gonna be like Liberace. Everybody's gonna go, yeah, all right. What else? Remember when
You
Liberace came out and
know,
everybody went, yeah, big deal. What? Tell me something I don't know.
when Rosie O'Donnell had her show, and she did this thing about a huge crush she had on Tom Cruise, and she said later, in her defense, leading to the theory of sometimes saying nothing is better. She
Right.
said, I didn't say I wanted to be with him. I said I wanted to mow his lawn. I so don't understand that. I mean, forget the fact that that's not
I'll
what she
tell you
said.
at 9
Leave that
o'clock.
out. But no, you can't. What are you doing? So.
Okay, well, hold on.
But I think she's set for life now. You can tell if you don't see them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman's written a couple of fictional bestsellers. He paints. He's 91. Sean Connery, retired to spend more time beating his wife into a coma.
Sean Connery. We just lost Dean Stockwell. You heard that, I'm sure.
Oh no, really?
Yeah,
Well,
Dean Stockwell
88?
He passed away today.
Well,
Oh,
88?
he had the best role in Battlestar Galactica, and he had probably the best line ever.
He had
What
a
was
role
that,
in Married to the Mob.
Yeah, he did. What was that line, Andy?
He was talking about he was an android, and he was basically talking about how much he hated how the humans decided to give us little eyes and stuff like this. Do you know what it was like to be a machine and be able to actually have the solar wind go across your body, go across your instruments? You took that away from me by making me human with 2 legs and a goggle eye. I hate you. And it's like, to me,
very bitter.
that was a great twist of thinking in terms of like, by making them humanoid, they took away all of their senses, all of the senses they had. So
you know what he was doing before he got that part in Married to the Mob? He played a lawyer in something too, didn't he?
Well, he was also in Quantum Leap.
But yeah, with Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
But he played a lawyer in something.
He was a child actor. He's been around for years.
Oh, he was a big shot, the boy with green hair.
Right.
He was a real estate agent in Arizona when they called him.
Wow.
How would you like to hear that conversation? Dean, I got you in a part with Alec Baldwin and Mercedes Rule and Michelle Pfeiffer. Don't fuck with me, Steve. I can hear now. I'll catch a red eye. I'll kill you. No, seriously.
He probably said, "I got the don't mess with me. I got the Glenn Ross roles. I finally got a hold of those leads.
Listen, I'd like to talk, but I got to reload this condo, so I'll see you. It's like that line in Major League when they talk to the manager, Lou Brown, and he goes, I don't know. I got a fella here on the other line who wants to talk white walls. I'll talk to you. I got such a kick out of that. Boy, if he died, James Gammon was the actor's name.
Right.
Who played, he had the quintessential, and I don't know if he smoked, but he had the quintessential 3-pack-a-day voice.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
Mm.
holy shit. How bad? Let me change the subject if I may. How bad did Mothers Against Drunk Driving screw Foster Brooks out of a career without actually pointing him out?
Mhm.
You know what? I'm going to look up and see when they started and when he ended because I don't think there was much that overlap. I think he might have been done with his career by the time they came along. I'm going to go to Google on that one, Sam. You guys
Because
discuss.
he's funny. He was funny.
Well,
He was hysterically
Brandy, are
funny.
you still there?
I'm here. I'm
What? Now you're going
listening.
to talk about something about your lawn. Is that correct?
My lawn. What you talking about? My lawn.
I'm guessing the answer to your question is no, Mark. But I
All
don't want
right,
to stick my
sorry.
neck out.
I was trying to I was trying to get you into this conversation.
And that would talk about a lawn. No, you didn't.
What would you like to
Okay.
talk about?
Have you seen Stockwell before?
Yeah, in old movies, I remember him.
Who now? Or Stockwell? Yeah, yeah. He did something a lot of child actors should do, which you get to a point, you've made some money. You're not rich, but you've made some money, and you get out.
Oh yeah.
And then wait for them to call you and give you a decent offer, right?
That's all. Or not go back at all. Not go back at all. When you look at the Culkins, there's 3 of them that are actively working. I can't remember the woman's name, but Kieran is on is on Succession,
Right.
and from what I understand, Macaulay didn't blow his money, didn't lose his money.
No. Yes, he hung
He
on to it.
didn't. That's a good thing.
I would think it's not that rare. I would think that most kids who get into the business have parents who look. I do have parents who look out for them, and they put the money in a 401 or something like that, you know. And then when the kids are ready to quit, the father sits them down and tells them he blew it all on hookers and blow.
Ah.
But he's nice enough to introduce his son to his favorite bitch, Cecile. So you have that.
Well, you know
Honey,
what?
here.
You
Go
know what,
ahead. I'm sorry.
Sam?
Yes.
Foster Brooks may have been affected by Mothers Against Drunk Driving because the man lived. The man lived to be. Looks like he lived to be 89 years old,
Wow.
and he was. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 89 years old, and he was. It looks to be. Well, he would have only been 68 when Mothers Against Drug Drivers came along. So, yeah,
But it
that would have
didn't say
affected his.
anything about how his career, nosedived, and then he. Well, we didn't talk about, maybe probably because I wasn't here. Mort Saul,
Oh, Mort Saul, yeah.
94.
Man, comics live a long time, don't they?
They either live a long time or they die at 40.
Oh, that's true.
No, look. Chris Farley, John Belushi,
Right.
John Candy,
Yep.
Mitch Hedberg,
Yep.
um,
Greg Giraldo,
Greg Giraldo, loved him. What a sweet guy.
Rich Jenny.
That was sad. I saw
Yeah.
him a month before he killed himself. His face looked like it was melting.
Oh my God.
Melted. It just, and such a nice guy, and such a great comedian. Man, he was great.
Feel good.
All the energy, come on stage in that sharkskin suit, little Italian guy. He had that little
Yeah.
walk to him. God, he was so great.
He was
So
good.
great. Oh, God, what a waste. Very sad. Who else? Zach and Mac.
Zach and Mac, yeah.
I always thought that the comics who should have been killed and
Who
never
was that
did
guy
were
from
the most.
Texas who passed away?
Who?
The guy
Bill.
from Texas.
Bill. Great comedian. But I can't remember his name.
The guy that Letterman wouldn't let do his material.
No, do you know the story about that?
That's a great story.
Here's the story. The story is it was Robert Morton. It wasn't Letterman. And Morton, what was his name? Bill. Fuck.
Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. That's
Thank
it.
you
Bill
so
Hicks.
much. Thank you so much, Bill Hicks. He said, they told me it wasn't for Letterman audience. My mother watches the show. She's part of Letterman's, but this is what it really pissed me off. And he's the only person in all of comedy who I hope struggles. I mean that. The rest of them, I don't care. Just do your act and make your money. I hope he struggles, even though he's not, on the he's not on the performing. But they asked him, they said, who is responsible for kiboshing Hicks? And then a big grin, he goes, moi, like that. So screw him.
Who said
I'm not
that?
saying it led to Hicks's death. He died of cancer. But, what a shitbag. What a
Who?
terrible thing. Robert Morton.
Oh, Robert Morton. No.
Mm-hmm. You know the
Easy.
story about what's his name? God damn it. Will Durst on Letterman.
No.
Okay. That night they had a woman who was an admiral in the Army. Shoot, I can't believe I said that. An admiral in the Navy. And right after World War, maybe the Korean War, she was old then, and Letterman hasn't been on in 20 years. She devised a computer method that made the Navy's work exponentially easier. She was brilliant. She was also funny in a droll way. She reminded me of Rogers, if you ever watch Law and Order, the medical examiner.
Okay.
That kind of droll humor. She was in her 80s. The audience loved her. They adored her. Letterman adored her. So they bring Durst on, and they told him early. They told him before, that day. They said, the guest before you is going to be a woman in her 80s who is in the Navy and is a computer genius and is also funny. So I'm not telling you how to do your act, but just be aware the audience adores her. So if they told me that, what I would do, besides no reference to her, is come out with a little more high energy, just a little, just to change the mood. That's what I would have done.
Right.
He comes on, Durst, and you know this, Mark, that when you're auditioning for these shows, they take you to 7 different clubs a night.
Right.
To hone your act.
Yep.
Tried and true method, evidently. So they bring Durst on, and this is his opening line. After having it hammered into his head about what he can't do. And he says, I was just in New Hampshire, old people and their parents. And it got worse from there. I will give him credit. At the end, he got it back a tinch, but it was literally like 4 holes in the boat, and 5 holes in the boat, and you have 4 limbs. It went nowhere. And so I'll tell you how early this was, by the way, in the history of the Letterman show. The producer was Barry Sand. He was their first producer.
Who? Oh, at the Letterman show?
The Letterman show, Barry Sand.
Yeah.
So he goes up. So Will Durst comes up to Barry Sand after the show and says, listen, thanks for giving me this opportunity. I'd love to come back whenever there's time available. And Barry Sand said to him, why don't you wait till I'm no longer associated with the National Broadcasting Company?
Oh, God.
That next day, oh no, if only it stopped there. That next day, there was an ad in the New York Times because he was coinciding his appearance on Letterman with his week-long appearance at Caroline's. And there was a picture of Durst, which he used in his promo of him like gritting his teeth like that with his fist clenched, and across not his face but across his torso, it said on this ad like a Miss America sash. It said "Banned by Letterman."
No.
Which means that given the lead time for an ad, he knew what he was going to do before he did it. He didn't give a shit.
Wow.
So the Letterman people called, the Carolines people. What did I say? No, the Letterman people called the Carolines people, and they said that ad saying that we banned Will not be available tomorrow for exposure, or he will not work here the rest of the week, or as long as there's a club. This is the quote, or as long as there's a club called Carolines.
Wow.
And so they took it off. So that's the whole story.
Wow.
Just one mistake after the other. And Will's a great comic. Great. But that
all right, I got Sam, I found out something about Foster Brooks and looking up
he's a Korean woman.
No, but I'm not gonna tell you because then you'll say that you knew it already. Because you probably did. I'd rather give it to you in the form of a quiz.
That's fine.
And let's see how you do, because Sam is great. Brandy, you're new to the show, but Sam is great at this trivia stuff. If I'm ever in a trivia championship and I get to pick a partner, Sam Greenfield is the man.
I'm ready to go.
How is Foster Brooks related to Jimmy Stewart? It's not familial. I'll give you that hint. But he has a
college athletes.
No, you don't know it. I thought you would have known it. When Jimmy Stewart flew for the Air Force during the war, Foster Brooks was his navigator.
Wow. That beats the shit out of mine. Wow. Evidently, he liked him because they landed.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
But I love learning this stuff. Did you also know that Foster Brooks and Betty White were at one time engaged to be married?
Holy
wow!
Shit.
I mean, if I'm to believe, Wikipedia and Google and all that stuff, that when you put somebody's name in there, all the stuff you find out about them. But
Wikipedia, I don't know.
They met at a Dean Martin roast, and Foster Brooks did a lot of them. Betty White did quite a few, but not like Foster Brooks was almost like a staple of the Dean Martin roast.
Oh yeah.
And so they had met on one, and I guess they were engaged for. They never went through with it, but I guess they met and were smitten with each other for a while.
It's stunning to me how many people smoked at those roasts.
Oh, isn't that? What's great about those things? Any Dean Martin roast. First of all, it's great that they never came out on DVD. You can only get them on VHS. The Dean Martin roast, right? And the Dean Martin Hour. I mean, there's all kinds of Dean Martin product out there that is just great television. And you forget about it because it was like, Dean Martin. Dean Martin was the type of show that you'd watch when nothing else was on, or whatever you watched was regularly at that hour was in rerun. You remember that, Sam? But I mean, Dean Martin had a great show.
And I never understood. This always bamboozled me. I never understood why the Friars Clubs did not offer up another dirty night at the Friars, the roast. Maybe their membership said, no, I don't. No. This is something I do here. It's not part of my act. It's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt me financially. You don't do that in your act, do you? Because that, and they were right. They were right. But I would assume, there's some of the dirtiest comics, and I say this with respect, are women now.
Sure.
But they're great.
Yeah.
They're Eliza and Natalie Leggero. I mean, they're great. Jesus. They're, what's his name? The roasts desperately are missing Neil Giraldo. Greg
Giraldo. Yeah. He was great.
That's a hole that I don't know will be filled. Jeff Ross, who I like a lot, a lot, has just become a parody of himself.
Well,
You
Jeff
know.
Ross is the reason. Jeff Ross basically stole the roast from the Friars.
Oh no, he's the dean. I don't mean the dean as it applies to the first, but he's the man. Yeah, absolutely. The lines that he came out with when he looked up and said, "Look at this, Alan King, Dick Van Dyke. Jesus, I've seen younger faces on Cash." That's just such a great line. And the other one was, "Christ, Abe Vigoda's here. He's going to buy a store and call it Old Navy. Really, Old Navy."
Really old.
You know, people kept saying that Abe Vigoda died. He lived to be 94.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're talking about Mort Saul. Mort Saul, I don't know how long it lasted, but it was like, I can tell you the year. It was 1978. He had a radio show in D.C.
I remember that.
On a radio called WRC. And I know that he, you know, is so admired by people. I know this. But on the radio, what a dick. Holy God. What a just miserable, curmudgeonly.
Wow.
Oh, man. Just, well,
I tell you,
it's
I
Friday
can tell you
night.
right now, without having heard the show and just having heard your description of it, and having seen Mort at the Comedy Magic Club and other places around L.A., including Sammy Shore's place. But anyway, he's a guy that plays to the audience.
Yep.
Even though he didn't care what the audience said, he did. He didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't care that he was criticized, but he was still there to entertain. And I think when you're in a radio microphone, you don't get to hear the response from the audience. And I think it might go into directions you don't think you should.
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, because I think that your point is valid, but I don't think it applies here. But let me give you an example, and make your own judgment. So he said something about politics, and
I'm just trying to give a dead man an out.
Huh?
I'm just trying to give a dead man an out.
Please do. Dead guy. And so he, and I said, and so he made a point, which I thought was valid. And I said, I can get behind that. And he goes, oh, can you? Can you get behind it? You don't want to get in front of it. And I go, oh, we need our caffeine, do we, Morty? And he said, you know what you need? You need me to come through this damn thing and grab you by the, and I went, whoa, Yosemite Sam. Whoa. And I hung up. It was just, I'm not talking about the entire show, but there was a bitterness to that. There was a bit, he goes, well, tonight is Friday. A lot of white kids are going to go out tonight and try to dance Negro. You know, what the fuck? What was that? You know, just, it was aberrant behavior. It wasn't doing comedy. It was like, what was the old Imus line? If you're not happy, I'm not happy unless you're not happy.
I tell you what, though. Okay, let me, not knowing the man and only having met him like 2 or 3 times, Mort Saul, by his example, I think allowed comics to do things that they might not have done in the time. In the time that he inspired them. I'm talking about in the 60s. I mean, Mort Saul allowed there for there to be a Robert Klein, a Robert Williams, you know, any of those, even a Bill Hicks. I think Bill Hicks can,
especially a Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks owes a lot to Mort Saul. I can see a lot of.
I can see a lot of.
What's that?
He can pay him now. All right, fellas, it's 9 o'clock.
Yep, I got to.
Bowing out gracefully.
9 o'clock.
You know what? Well, let's say all goodbye then, because I got to wrap up at 9 too, and I know Andy's got to go to pick up somebody.
Nice hearing from you all.
The whole damn show.
Hey, Brandy, you want to come back next week?
Yeah, just remind me. Send me a text and remind me, please.
All right.
Love having you. Thank you for coming.
Right. Thank you,
thanks
guys.
for coming. All right, goodbye, everybody. Oh, now next week, pay attention to your Facebook Messenger because I'll be in LA and we may be doing it an hour earlier.
That's fine.
So I just have to. I just
be alert.
Gonna have all my equipment with me like I did the last time I was there in September. But we're probably gonna do it.
We need more.
We've already done it. We've already done it once in LA, so I know I can do it there. So.
Goddamn right.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye from the off night, and see everybody. I don't know. Whenever it is that we see them again. Yeah. See you later.
You're not paying for the check? What happened? Wait a minute. I think you're gonna pay for this. I'm on the road. Oh, man. Always the same.